Are the majority of our government's MPs funded by Israel? This is the Conservative Friends of Israel website, and there is a whole list of all the MPs that are supporters of this group. This organisation is one of the biggest funders of the Conservative Party. The aim is to maintain good relations with Israel and to support a two-state solution in Israel and Palestine. After yesterday's statement by Suella Braverman concerning the peaceful demonstrations by the pro-Palestinian people, I was curious to see maybe what connections that Suella might have with Israel and what motive she might have to support the Jewish community. And I would like to say I don't have any grievances with the Jewish community. I do not have any connections with any religion whatsoever, personally. And I thought I would also look up like the current members of parliament who is Jewish and who has Jewish connections. So Suella is married to Rael Braverman, who is of Jewish descent, but he calls himself Christian, but he is raised Jewish. Tom Tugendhat is the Minister of State for Security. I'm not sure how old these are, whether they're still actually the positions that they hold, but let's just take it as read that they do. Had Jewish grandparents, but he converted to Catholicism to marry. He is supposedly the Minister of State Security. This is Robert Halfon, Minister of State of the Department of Education, and his father is Ashkenazi Jew. His parents are Jewish, I think, as well. Grant Shapps, Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. He was the first Jewish Home Secretary in nearly 10 years. Dominic Raab, Deputy Prime Minister and Secretary of State for Justice, is also the son of a Czech Jewish refugee who escaped the Nazis in the Second World War. I would like to preface here that not all Jewish people are Zionists. Zionists believe in the state of Israel being their homeland, and they are taught that from a young age, and they believe that they have a birthright to that land. I don't know which of these MPs have Zionist beliefs, so let's just leave it at that. I will say that many Jewish people are supporting Palestinians at this time, so being Jewish doesn't by default mean that you are pro-Israel colonisation of the Palestinian homeland. This article that I found from 11th October says, Home Secretary's first trip as MP is Conservative Friends of Israel, CFI, which is an organisation that's closely linked to the Israeli state, paid for James Cleverly and Suella Braverman to go to Israel just 3 months after they were elected to Parliament. What would be the purpose of this, you might imagine? I think it's just a tour to show our government's MPs how wonderful Israel is and to perhaps obviously glean some support. In this trip, they were introduced to the partition, the wall, and the concentration camp that is Palestinian territory, and generally get a showcase of Israel. So Cleverly says, after this trip, Israel is an amazing country, and there's no doubt about that. Braverman, then 35, added, CFI is carrying out an individual task in educating British politicians. CFI does not disclose its funders, but it has said 80% of Conservative MPs are members. The group has access to the highest levels of Israelis' political, military and intelligence. Yes, this is a lovely shot of Suella with Netanyahu. And the comprehensive tour, they met with Mark Regev, then spokesman for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Deputy National Security Advisor Aaron Lerman. And so they've met a number of important delegates, I suppose. Going back to Cleverly, it says the first entry in Cleverly's register of interest, because they have to register every time that they get donations, after he became an MP in May 2015 election, was from the Conservative Friends of Israel. The group paid for the new MP from Braintree in Essex to be part of a fact-finding political delegation in Israel and the West Bank. The trip was 4 days from 30th of August to September the 4th and cost £2,000. And he went with Suella Braverman, as we've stated. So going back to Cleverly, he defended Israel's last bombing campaign in Gaza in May 2021. CFI says it works to promote its twin aims of supporting Israel and promoting conservatives in the UK. And this is interesting. So Alan Duncan, a UK foreign minister MP from 2016 to 19, wrote in his recent memoirs that the CFI, this Conservative Friends of Israel, had succeeded in stopping his own appointment as Minister for the Middle East in 2016 because of his support for Palestinian human rights. There is also a claim that a donor from the CFI donated 10 million to the Conservative Party, and they say, someone's saying here it's not proven. CFI as an organisation has donated only 30,000 since 2005. I pretty much doubt that. Each of these donations has been made transparently and publicly registered in order that this £30,000. It is undoubtedly the case that some of our supporters have also chosen separately to donate to the party as individuals. So if you do it through your separate business, then it's not going to be flagged up as CFI donation. And I found this article from a while ago saying pro-Israel lobby bankrolling Tories film claims. And there was a documentary made in that's 2009, saying 50% of MPs in the shadow cabinet are Conservative Friends of Israel members, according to Channel 4's dispatches. I'm trying to paraphrase this whole article, but basically it's saying the CFI is beyond doubt the most well-connected and probably the best funded of all Westminster lobbying groups. And this I was surprised to find with my Finnish roots, so I'm quite disgusted. But the programme also described how David Cameron allegedly accepted £15,000 donation from Poju Zabludovich, a Finnish billionaire who chairs Bitkom, the British-Israeli Communications and Research Centre. The film reveals has business interests and an illegal West Bank settlement. He also gave £50,000 to Conservative Central Office. He says his contributions are a matter of public record. William Hague allegedly accepted personal donations from the CFI board members, totalling tens of thousands of pounds after being appointed Shadow Foreign Secretary. More than £30,000 from CFI sponsors went to the campaign funds of members of Cameron's team, who were first elected in 2005, so they're all involved. It goes on to say American academics Stephen Walt and John Mearsheimer explored the influence of the Israel lobby over US foreign policy, but Britain's pro-Israel organisations have been subjected to far less scrutiny. I would also add there's also a Labour Friends of Israel group as well, so it's not just the Conservatives. The pro-Israel lobby is the most powerful political lobby, Michael Mates, a Conservative MP and Privy Councillor, told the filmmakers. There's nothing to touch them. Hague fell out with the CFI after describing Israel's 2006 attack on Lebanon in retaliation for the Hezbollah raid as disproportionate. This is important. And allegedly faced threats to withdrawing funding from Lord Calms, a major Tory donor and CFI member, the film reports. So this is the same situation we're in now. We can see that the Conservative Party are basically going to lose their funding if they speak out and ask for a ceasefire. That's why so many MPs are getting fired over this. It briefly says at the top that Jonathan Dimbleby was criticised a pro-Israel campaign against the BBC's Middle East editor Jeremy Bowen, and Dimbleby was the subject of a complaint and was being investigated by the BBC, and now they've gone on to deny that. Going on to Bitkom, that billionaire-owned company by the Finnish guy, like the party-affiliated groups, organises briefings and trips to Israel for journalists, including Guardian staff. It sought to dismiss the significance of Zabludovich's interest in a shopping mall in Male Abdomen, in a settlement in West Gaza, the West Bank. And I did some research on him, and he has spoken openly about wanting to set up this shopping mall there, and he basically has a huge media company, so it's understandable why he wants that land. Here's a quote from Boris Johnson: "All my life I've been a defender and supporter of Israel." La 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 la. Anyway, I could go on. I'm running out of time, so I will do a second video on this if I possibly can, but it just goes to prove that it's not all cut and dry. Always follow the money trail.